There are probably two main reasons why in the 12th and 13th centuries it becomes very difficult to make this distinction. And both of these reasons have to do with the growing power of the papacy. First, it's really only in the 12th century that the papacy tries to control who is called a saint. It's only in this period that a formal canonization process is put in place, which is meant to establish who is or is not a saint. And this process is still in use today. And essentially what it means is that a court is set up, and in that court are lawyers arguing either for the sanctity of a particular person or against the sanctity. In fact, our term, the devil's advocate, comes from this procedure. In other words, this is the lawyer assigned to the devil, the negative case, who is meant to try to argue that this person is not a saint. And so in order to prove anybody's sanctity, you have to be producing evidence. So the papacy was going about this in a very scientific way. And part of the evidence you had to provide was not only was this person holy during their lifetimes, but was this person so holy that they could continue being holy after death by performing miracles. So to take a modern contemporary example, the English theologian John Henry Newman, who died in 1890, is undergoing this canonization process now, but until we find one more evidence of that he's performed a miracle after his death, he cannot go all the way to become a saint. So that's the first reason, the canonization process. The second reason is that the papacy is also trying to control what types of behavior everyday Christians are doing, which is considered holy and which is considered heretical. So, for example, if we take two people, there's Francis of Assisi, whom we all nowadays regard as a saint, and a guy we know less about. His name is Peter Waldo. These guys both had the exact same kinds of upbringing. They were both merchants. They had both lived a dissolute life as youths. They both had a sudden conversion experience in midlife. They both became charismatic preachers and had a huge group of followers. The difference is that St. Francis agreed to put himself under the jurisdiction of the Pope and to toe the line when it came to certain kinds of doctrinal, certain kinds of teachings of the Church. Whereas Peter Waldo's followers weren't able to do that. They weren't able to conform to this, and so they were called heretics. So people in this period would often find themselves outside the Church without really knowing why, and being labeled as heretics when they thought they were following this perfectly saintly person.